Disciples Day, of Shiva Goswami, or Disciples Day. He's such a wonderful personality. It's going to be very, very nice also. We try to be on time, but so that's not the usual verse. I choose chapter 18 of the 8th canto about Lord Vamana. Maybe it's here. Yes. First, I will read, after reading the verse and the purport, I will read first just translation of Shloka of Srimad Bhagavatam, and after we will talk a little bit. So it's a different meter, this Shloka, and maybe someone who is very conversant with the meter, with the tune, can read the Shloka number 1. Who is that?
It is first Shloka.
It's another meter, so okay. I'm sure you will read better than me. Oh, sorry, Prabhu. Invocation first together. Om Aganatiminandasya Gyanam Chanam Sadakaya Shaksun Miditangina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Yama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvise Sarshunyavadi Shatyagi Shatadine Chayoshri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhu Yarevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Shri Shuka Uvacha Itam Virencha Stutakarma Virya Pradurbhavuvam Ritabhura Aditya Chaturbhuja Shankha Gadabja Chakra Vishangavasa Nalina Yatekshana Shri Shuka Uvacha Itam Virencha Stutakarma Virya Pradurbhavuvam Ritabhura Chaturbhuja Shankha Gadabja Chakra Vishangavasa Lalina Yatekshana Shri Shuka Uvacha Itam Virencha Stutakarma Virya Pradurbhavuvam Ritabhura Chaturbhuja Shankha Gadabja Chakra Vishangavasa Nalina Yatekshana
Shri Shuka Uvacha Itam Virincha Stutakarma Virya Pradurbhavuvam Ritabhura Chaturbhuja Shankha Gadabja Chakra Vishangavasa Nalina Yatekshana
Shri Shuka Itam Virincha Stutakarma Virya Bhuvamrita Bhuraditya Chaturbuja Shankha Gadabja Chakra Visangavasa Nalinaya Tekshana
Shri Shuka Uvacha
Shri Shuka Uvacha
Ambirincha Stata Karma Virya Durbhavam Vrita Bhura Adityam Bhuja Shankha Gadabja Chakra Visangavasa Nalinaya Tikshanaha
Shri Shuka Uvacha
Shri Shuka Uvacha
Itam Virinka Stuta Karma Virya Pradurbabuvam Lata Bhura Adityam Chaturbuja Sankha Gadam Chakra Shangavasha Nalinaya Tekshana
So, word for words. Shri Sukha Uvacha Shukadev Goswami said, Itam in this way. Vidichastuta Kamaviryaha. The personality of Godhead, whose activity and prowess are always praised by Lord Brahma.
Whose activities and prowess are always praised by Lord Brahma.
Pradurbabuva became manifested. Amritabhu, whose appearance is always deathless. Adityam, from the womb of Aditi. Chaturbhujan, having 4 arms. Shankar Gadabja Chakra, decorated with conch shell, clove, lotus and disc. Pishangavasa, dressed in yellow garments. Nalina Ayata Ikshanaha, having blooming eyes like the petals of a lotus. A translation by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Shukadeva Goswami said, after Lord Brahma had thus spoken, glorifying the Supreme Lord's activities and prowess, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is never subject to death like an ordinary living being, appeared from the womb of Aditi. His 4 hands were decorated with a conch shell, a club, lotus and disc. He was dressed in yellow garments, and his eyes appeared like the petals of a blooming lotus. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. The word Amrita, Bhur, is significant in this verse. The Lord sometimes appears like an ordinary child taking birth, but this does not mean that he is subject to birth, death, or old age. One must be very intelligent to understand the appearance and activities of the Supreme Lord in his incarnation. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, verse 9. Chanmakanmachami divyam evamyo vititadvataha. One should try to understand that the Lord's appearance and disappearance and his activities are all divyam, or transcendental. The Lord has nothing to do with material activities. One, we understand the appearance, disappearance, and activities of the Lord, is immediately liberated. After giving up his body, he never again has to accept a material body, but is transferred to the spiritual world. Tyagvadiham punna janma naitima metisojuna. So, reading that part of the purport, I remember it was in Moscow. There was actually a lecture given by Goswami Maharaj, Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj. It was Janmashtami. And he started with a song describing Mother Yashoda and baby Krishna. And then he read that verse of Bhagavad Gita, that we have to understand actually the transcendental nature of the Lord activity, of the Lord appearance. Then we go back home, back to Godhead. We don't take a material body anymore. And he looked at his watch, he said, okay, it's 10:30, so we have until midnight to understand the Lord transcendental activities. And as he was talking about that verse, he was saying, it's 10, it's 10:30, it's 11, soon we have to understand now. So it was very, very useful. So by reading and discussing about Lord Vamana Deva, we are going to try to understand the spiritual nature. So first I will read the translation of a few verses from Srimad Bhagavatam describing Lord Vamana Deva's appearance. Then we will discuss. And that talk will be inspired, of course, by Srila Prabhupada and also by Radhanath Swami, who is very expert in describing the Lord appearance, activities. So we go to text 2 of the 8th chapter of the ISKCON. The body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, blackish in complexion, was free from all inability. His touchless face, decorated with earrings, resembling sharks, appeared very beautiful, and on his bosom was the mark of Srivatsa. He wore bangles on his wrist, armlets on his arms, a helmet on his head, a belt on his waist, a sacred thread across his chest, and ankle belts decorating his lotus feet. So we are going to see that when Lord Vamana Deva appeared, first he showed his original form to his mother, Aditi, and his father, Kashyapa. Text 3. An uncommonly beautiful garland of flowers decorated his bosom, and because the flowers were extremely fragrant, a large group of bees, making their natural humming sounds, invading them for honey. When the Lord appeared, wearing the Kaustubha gem on his neck, his effulgence vanquished the darkness in the home of Prajapati Kashyapa. 4. At that time, there was happiness in all directions, in the reservoirs of water, like the rivers and ocean, and in the core of everyone's heart. The various seasons displayed their respective qualities, and all the living entities in the upper planetary system, in outer space, and on the surface of the earth were jubilant. The demigods, the cows, the brahmanas, and the hills and mountains were all filled with joy. 5. And that verse number 5 describes today. On the day of Shravana Vavasi, the 12th day of the bride fortnight in the month of Bhadra, when the moon came into the lunar mansion Shravana at the auspicious moment of Abhijit, the Lord appeared in the universe. Considering the Lord's appearance very auspicious, all the stars and planets, from the Sun to Saturn, were munificently charitable. 6. O King, when the Lord appeared on Dvadashi, the 12th day of the moon, the sun was at the meridian, as a villain scholar knows. This Dvadasi is called Vijaya. So that's today. And Vijaya means victory. So today will be a victory. If we go distribute books, it's going to be victory. If we serve in the temple, it will be victory. 7. Conch shell, kettle drums, panavas and anakas vibrated in concert. The sound of these and various other instruments was tumultuous. 8. Being very pleased, the celestial dancing girls, Apsara, danced in jubilation. The best of the Gandharvas sang songs, and the great sages, demigods, Manu, Pitas, and fire gods offered prayers to satisfy the Lord. 9 and 10. The Siddhas, Vidyadharas, Kimpurusas, Kinnara, Shavana, Yakshas, Rakshasa, Suparnas, the best of the serpents, and the followers of the demigods all showered flowers on Aditi's residence, covering the entire house, while glorifying and praising the Lord and dancing. You can imagine all these flowers and petals covering the entire house. It's like when we do Pushpa Abhishek with the rose petals. The deities become completely covered with the petals. I don't know if anyone has been in Chopati in Mumbai. We have every year about at least two, maybe 3 beautiful pushpa offering. And it's such a joy. The deities are completely covered with tons of rose petals. In the morning, actually, devotees come from all over. And it's a very special day, that offering, because you can see billionaires sitting in front of big baskets, putting the rose petals in the basket. And they're actually sitting near some beggars or some street sweeper without any differences. And when that beautiful offering of more than 1 ton of rose petals is actually thrown to do the pushpa abhishek, it's very pure offering, because nobody can say, oh, it's my own petals on the Lord, you know. Nobody can become proud because it's actually a very unified devotional offering. So that happened in that case where all the demigods were throwing petals on the house of Kashyapa and Aditi. 11. When Aditi saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead, when it appeared from her own room, having accepted the transcendental body by his own spiritual potency, she was struck with wonder and was very happy. Upon seeing the child, Prajapati Kashyapa exclaimed, child, in great happiness and wonder. Last verse we read today, 12. The Lord appeared in his original form with ornaments and weapons in his hand, although this ever-existing form is not visible in the material world, he nonetheless appeared in this form. Then, in the presence of his father and mother, he assumed the form of Vamana, a Brahman dwarf, a brahmachari, just like a theatrical actor. We know that Krishna likes to be very dramatic, like a theatrical actor. We remember that in the pastime of Kalya, when he went actually on the hoods of Kalya, he adjusted his beautiful belt before dancing and fighting with Kalya. So the Lord likes to play and to act like that, to captivate our mind and our hearts. So we will go to the story of the Lila. So the actor, the main actor is of course Lord Vamana, but as most of the time, the Lord comes to actually glorify his devotee. So who is his main devotee in the Lila? Bali Maharaj. So the family of Bali Maharaj was quite exceptional. It was a mixed family. He was the son of Virochana. And who was his grandfather? Prahlad Maharaj. Yeah. So he was also then the great grandson of. He was the grandson of. He was the grandson of Prahlad Maharaj. Hiranyakashipu. So you have on one side the greatest of the devotee, Prahlad Maharaj, and the greatest of the demon, Hiranyakashipu. He was also the great-grandnephew of another very famous demon, Hiranyaksha. So he had a very particular heritage. So Bali Maharaj, at one point, he had so many good qualities, although he was born in the family of the demons. And he had a spiritual master, Sukracharya, the spiritual master of the demons, who was full of knowledge, who was a Brahmana himself. So he decided to do a big yagya, first to please his spiritual master, and then he wanted to please the Brahmana, because to achieve success when we do a yagya, we have to please the Brahmana and the spiritual master. And he took the best of the Brahmana, the descendants of Bhrigu Muni, to perform the yagya. So everybody was so pleased with Bali Maharaj. His spiritual master actually gave him full blessing, but also the greatest of the Brahmana gave him full blessings. And then he became so powerful that nobody could defeat him. Actually, his body was emanating such a strong light and so much energy that he couldn't be defeated by anyone. So such was his power that he assembled an army of millions and millions, countless asura, and everybody marched together towards Indrapur, actually the abode of King Indra. So when Indra, from his palace, looked at what was happening, who was coming, and when he saw actually the effulgence of Bali Maharaj, the effulgence was like millions of suns, Indra got very scared. And he thought, I will never be able to defeat Bali Maharaj. He looks like he can actually conquer the 14 worlds, because so much power was coming from his effulgence. that alone he could destroy everyone. So he went to his guru, Brihaspati, and he asked Brihaspati, what should I do? I don't see any hope of actually defeating Bali Maharaj. What can I do? And then Brihaspati told him, you are right, you cannot defeat him because he has pleased greatly his guru and he has pleased the Brahmana. So his powers are beyond your reach. The only thing you can do is to run away. Run away, hide, and just pray that Lord Krishna will show you mercy. So he followed the instruction of Brihaspati. Indra and all the demigods, they ran away. They became poverty-stricken. They had nothing anymore. They were like homeless people, fugitive, like refugees. It was very, very embarrassing situation. They could do nothing. But their mother, the very chaste lady Aditi, became very, very unhappy and worried. She couldn't do anything, seeing the condition of her children. And some, I don't know if anybody has children here, maybe not. Somebody has children? Not yet. Huh? So in that situation, the mother and also the father, they become so unhappy. They are very, very attached to the children. That was the situation of Aditi. And on top of it, her husband was in the jungle doing tapasya. He couldn't do anything. So after a few years, when he came out of his tapasya, he saw his dear wife Aditi lamenting so much. And he says, what is actually the problem? And she told him, our children are like mendicants. The king of the demons, Bali Maharaj, took everything from them. They are hiding like beggars. I cannot tolerate that. I have so much pain in my heart. So he saw that she was really worried. And he said, you can do something. You can please Krishna. So you have to worship Lord Vasudeva. How should I do that? So he told her about a special tapasya, a special sacrifice called Payovrata sacrifice. She asked more details. So he said for 12 days you have to fast, you have to worship Guru, you have to worship the Lord, to chant mantra, to keep very, very clean, and to be situated in God consciousness for 12 days. So she did that, and the Lord appeared to her. So she felt down at his lotus feet. And she was so much in ecstasy, she was actually crying. She couldn't speak, but she surrendered fully to him. So Lord Narayan says, I know exactly why you have approached me. I know your problem, and I'm going to bring back the wealth of your children. I'm going to come personally to appear in your room. I will manifest myself with your husband, within your husband's body. Then you have to worship your husband properly, and I will enter into your room as your own son. So he disappeared, and he did as he said. He appeared within the heart of Kashyapa Muni. Aditi served her husband very nicely, with very great faith and chastity and devotion. And then he appeared in the room of Aditi. That was the verse we read. So again, it was on that very day, Dvadashi, on the month of Shravan, and the day is called Vijay, victory. So as we read, he appeared with 4 arms as Lord Narayan, and then he transformed into a beautiful, beautiful little Brahmana dwarf. He had a golden complexion. He had his hair had the complexion of gold also, and he was called, because he was a dwarf, he was called Vamana. He was not just, he didn't appear as a little baby, but as a beautiful little dwarf. So the demigods understood what was happening, and they started and they gave gift to that little dwarf. They gave him gifts befitting a Brahmana. For example, he was given a deer skin. At that time, little Brahmana were wearing deer skin. He had Kudraraksha beads, the beads of Lord Shiva. He had a little water pot, Kamadalu. And goddess Parvati actually gave him the first alms in charity when he appeared. I don't know what it was, but gift you give to Brahmana. He had a little stick, he had an umbrella, and he performed yagya. So then, meanwhile, Bali Maharaj was still performing a lot of Ashvamedha sacrifices. He was very, very powerful because he was still worshipping and pleasing Guru and Brahmana. So nobody could defeat him. Then little Vamanadev came with bare foot, and he came upon the arena of the sacrifice. It was on the banks of a river called Narmada. And when Bali Maharaj saw him, his heart was actually filled with joy, because the Lord was so beautiful, and from him emanated so much compassion. So he bowed down, in front of the Lord, and he offered a seat, honorable seat to the Lord. And he said, "Oh, little Vamana, you have come, you have blessed us. By your presence, we feel so blessed. You have sanctified my life." He does not know him, but he's already feeling within so blessed. Please take whatever you want. I'm going to leave you in charity, whatever you want. I can give you cows or property. I can give you homes, even an island. You tell me whatever you want, maybe jewels. Ask what you desire. Then Vamanadev replied, I'm sure you know what he replied. If you wish to give me something, please give me 3 steps of land. But then Shukracharya, the spiritual master, who has some vision, comes on the scene, and very strongly he says, don't give him anything. Don't give him the 3 steps of land, because you don't know who he is. He's actually the friend of your enemy. He's actually Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He came with a special purpose to cheat you. With the 3 steps of land, he's going to take everything from you. You will have nothing. I tell you, he has come to cheat you, to take everything away. But it was too late. Bali Maharaj was already enchanted. And he said, I've already promised that I will give him everything he wants. Shukracharya knew the scriptures very well. And sometime in the world, somebody materialistic, when he knows the scriptures, he can use the scriptures in a way befitting his material interest. So he knew how to justify what he was saying. He said, yes, you promise, but in special circumstances, you have the right to actually break your promise. And he gave a lot of reasons, emergency situation. You must break your promise and don't give him anything. So Bali Maharaj saw, and then he told, but actually we're supposed, although we are demons, as the spiritual master is telling us that we must surrender to Vishnu, but now you tell me not to surrender. Therefore he thought, my spiritual master is not a bona fide spiritual master. So he turned to Vamana Deva and he said, I will grant what I promise. I will grant your request. You may take 3 steps of land. Shukaracharya became very offended. Because sometimes Guru becomes offended when we don't obey. Some gurus say they're so merciful they don't become offended. But Shukaracharya became offended. He says, if you defy my order, I curse you that you will lose everything. So, before Vamana Deva asked for the 3 steps, Bali Maharaj was really surprised. He said, why 3 steps? On top of it, you're very small. I can give you anything else. You're only a dwarf, and your 3 steps will become so tiny. Why are you asking 3 steps? Ask for more. And little Vamana Deva said, actually, you already have conquered the 3 worlds, but still in your heart, you are not satisfied. But I'm a little dwarf, just a little dwarf. I have nothing, but I'm satisfied within. Happiness is within my heart. If someone is not happy in his heart, he cannot be happy, even if he gain the whole world. So Bali Maharaj says, all right, take 3 steps, and then something extraordinary happened. Of course, I know you know the story, but the Lord body began to expand in a gigantic way, a gigantic transcendental form called Trivikram. 3 means 3. And very quick, he covered the whole world with his feet. So here it is described how he covered. So he covered all the Burva Loka. It's the planet situated in the space between the earth and the sun, with his thighs. And he conquered, he covered the Svarga, heavenly planet, with his waist. The Mahar Loka, with his stomach. They are the higher heavenly planets. Other planets called Janaloka, with his neck, and Satyaloka, top of heavenly planets, with his head. Actually, he covered the whole material creation while putting his first step, including the sun and the moon planet. So, meanwhile, the demigods were in ecstasy, offering puja, Then nobody could believe what they see. The second step went very, very high, and it reached the very end of the universe, above Brahmaloka. And then his toe pierced the covering of the universe. So what happened then? There was a drop of water coming from the...
And it became the Ganges.
Yeah, it was coming from the causal ocean. there was a little crack, and it fell on the feet of Trivikram Vamana. And when it came down, it became, as Prabhu said, it became the Ganges. So all the demigods, they were in their heavenly, how do you say, heavenly Vimano, and the heavenly planes. They were running to catch the Shravanamrita from the Lord's lotus feet. Then Bali Maharaj was in ecstasy looking at all this. And Lord Vamana Dev told Trivikram, you see, I've covered the whole earth just with one step. I've covered all the heavenly planets with my second step. But remember, you've promised me 3 steps. What can you do? Where should I put my 3rd step? So Garuda at that time thought, actually, Bali Maharaj is a liar because he promised and he cannot give. He has nothing left. So he took some rope and he started to tie with the rope Bali Maharaj. Meanwhile, the soldiers in the army, they felt very offended because they didn't serve, they were demons, they didn't serve Bali Maharaj without any selfish motivation. But they thought everything belonging to Bali is also belonging to us. So they came to start to attack Lord Vamana. Bali Maharaj couldn't do anything, he was tired, he was telling, don't attack, don't attack. But they attacked, and of course, they got crushed, and they just ran away. So, now, Bali Maharaj is treated like a criminal, and he's a prisoner. He's just in front of Lord Vamana. And it's a big suspense. Everybody is actually seeing the degradation of King Bali. It could be very humiliating, but Bali Maharaj is in ecstasy. He has become a prisoner, a beggar, but he's in ecstasy. He has tears in his eyes, tears of love. And he said, my dear Lord, you already have taken everything. You have taken my land, my palaces, my properties. You have taken all my wealth, my influence. But then you have taken my false prestige. And he says, there is only one thing I can offer you. It's my life, my body, my own life. Please put your 3rd step on my head. And when he said that, actually, he was following in the footsteps of Prahlad Maharaj. And he wanted to keep his integrity, his truthfulness to the Lord. So he bowed down with great humility so that the Lord could put his foot on his head. So it was so beautiful. The Lord was so pleased that to see that actually Bali Maharaj gave everything without any selfish motive. Then he just wanted to reciprocate with the full surrender of Bali Maharaj. So then the story goes, he gave Bali Maharaj a planet to rule over, Sutala. I think it was kind of in Patalaloka. You remember? But it was, they have some heavenly planets in Patalaloka also. And the planet was called Sutala. Prahlad Maharaj was so pleased with his grandchild. Then he said, I want to go there to Sutala to live with my grandson. So the Lord also was so pleased. he said, I will never leave you. He accepted the humble position of the doorkeeper on the planet of Bali Maharaj. So there is a beautiful prayer that we all know. It was when Jayadev Goswami glorified Vrindavan Lila in Shri Shri Radha Govindaji. You know, he wrote Gita Govinda. In the introduction, he glorified the 10 main incarnations of Krishna. And there is a beautiful verse we can sing together. My voice is really broken, I'm sorry. It's not going to be, so you can sing with me. It's Keshavajita Vamana Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Once more. Keshavajita Vamana Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jai Shri Prabhupada, Jai Vamana Dev. So, as we said in the beginning, Vamana Dev came to see all of you in his little Shila form. He has a little peak on top. It's like his umbrella. So these deities, a few more deities, they all came because they wanted adventures. They came, and they came from Russia, different places. And they wanted adventures and understood they wanted to meet devotees. So I'm going to end here. We have 5 little minutes. If anybody would like to add anything about this beautiful lila, please feel inspired to say anything.
You can maybe mention what the wife of Bali Maharaj said to her husband.
Oh, please mention.
She said, my husband thinks he can offer you something. He thinks himself the proprietor of something, but you, my Lord, you already possess everything, so he has not any right to offer you back something. He's under ignorance.
That's beautiful. So she was already a pure devotee, like the wives of Kalya, the Nagapatni.
Yes.
Yeah. So Bali Maharaj is very wonderful. And he became a Maharajan by this Atmanivedana, offering everything. So we worship him. You know, we hope one day we will be maybe able to follow in his footsteps. Because although we try to offer everything, we live in the temple or we preach, or if we look very, very deep within, it seems we often hold, I mean, I speak for myself, hold something, we don't give everything, but that's our aspiration. And Bali Maharaj showed the example. Because maybe it's easy to think we give everything when we already have nothing. You know, but it's like in India, Prabhupada said, people, it's in the field, when, let's say, the wheat or any other grains are coming to be harvest. Sometimes the wind is taking the grains before it can be taken by the farmer. And then the farmer says, Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu. So it's not an offering made total surrender. It's an offering made by the law of nature, by force, you know. It's gone already. Oh, Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu. Like that. So, anybody here wants to say anything else on that very auspicious occasion?
Just a question, and it's connected with your name actually. From what I just also heard, Revati was mentioning that after the water touched the lotus feet of Vamana, the toe of Vamana actually became the Mondakini river, isn't it?
Yes, Prabhuji.
What is the difference between all the nuance between the Ganges, the Mondakini, you know, how it's working?
Actually, the Mondakini river, as you very well explained, is flowing in the heavenly planets. And when there was a crack in the universe, it came from the Causal Ocean. And when it touched the toe of the Lord, and when it's flowing in the heavenly planets, it becomes the Mondakini river. But then, when it comes on the Earth planet, it becomes the Ganges river. When it was called by the sage,
Marasagar.
what was his name?
Marasagar.
Yeah, a sage,
Bagheera.
something.
We read that a few months ago. No?
Maybe he has two names. There is another name about something. And he wanted to worship the demigod, his forefathers.
Yes. 60,000 forebrothers, they burnt in ashes by the Kapil Deva.
Yeah.
Rishi Kapil Deva.
Yeah. And then Lord Shiva caught it, and it became the Ganges River. Yeah, so I have a special link with Vamana and Trivikram. And Prabhupada gave me that name. I was before initiation, I was thinking, I would like to have the name of a holy river, like my dear Yamuna Devi. You know, and Prabhupada, when I first met him the first week in London, he asked my name, you know. I was told to go in his room to talk to him, and he asked my name. And I told him, because I didn't have initiation, I've been 2 days in the temple, although I had asked Prabhupada initiation, but I didn't, for some other reason, I didn't get it yet. So I looked at Prabhupada, Prabhupada, I have no names. Because I have no initiation name. Prabhupada looked surprised. And then he understood. He said, oh, you don't like the name your parents gave you? And he had a big smile. And then he said, the smile said, I understood the smile. Don't worry, I will give you a name you will like. And I was thinking, I would like to have the name of a holy river, like my dear Yamuna. And Prabhupada gave me the name of a holy river. So yeah, it is linked with the Lord Vamana. Anything else, dear devotees, you want to say? If not, I'm going to rush. Thank you so much for your association. Thank you to allow us to be together to glorify Vamana. And don't forget tonight, it will be a beautiful talk. Prabhu, you will be?
No.
No, it's not Prabhu.
No, it's Ram Vijay.
Oh.
No, it's Vigata Shri.
Okay, beautiful talk about the wonderful personality of Jiva Goswami, so don't miss that. I will try to be back in time. Haribol, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Lord Vamana ki jai.
Mondakini Mataji ki
Jai. No, thank you.